Tonight's headlines are brought to you by McDonald's and Marianas Coffee.
Good evening, Commonwealth, and thanks for watching the Channel 2 News. I'm Sakurako Halstead.
And I'm Dan Shore. Let's take a look at tonight's top stories. Changes are coming to some of the pre-positioned ships that have been positioned in Saipan.
Also tonight, Sunday marks the 81st anniversary of the Battle of Saipan.
And oh, say can you see? New licensing rules pave the way for a new doctor.
In sports, Team Audrey, a story about perseverance that is a first in Asia.
Stay with us. These stories and more are next.
Can somebody please help me judge this chicken?
Juicy, seasoned.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the hair.
Now, who you think made this?
I don't know who cooked it, but they know how to cook.
Boom! Oh, McDonald's! Yes!
Are you serious? You don't like Mickey D's? Okay.
Guess what? I got something special for y'all. Double dip! Cause that nods mean people who love McCrispy strips. How you feeling now? Yeah.
Caught in 4K.
McCrispy strips, man, from Mickey D's. They here for it. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba.
Now flying between Saipan and Rota, Micronesian Air Connections makes island travel safe, comfortable, and easy. Our Cessna Grand Caravan seats 9, offering comfort, space, and panoramic window views. With modern safety tech and experienced pilots, your 40-minute flight is as smooth as it is scenic. Whether you're heading to Rota for a serene escape or back to Saipan for business or family, Micronesian Air Connections is the connection. Book online today at flymax.com. Fly local, fly smart, fly Micronesian Air.
I love Marianas coffee. Come join me for a cup. I think you would be really happy.
Hafaday, Tirawami, and good evening, Commonwealth.
You're watching the Channel 2 News on June 13th from our studio high up on Capitol Hill.
As we head towards Liberation Day, this Sunday marks the 81st anniversary of the start of one of the most pivotal battles in the Pacific, the Battle of Saipan.
On June 15, 1944, more than 70,000 U.S. Marines and soldiers stormed the beaches of Saipan in a fierce campaign to seize the island from Japanese control. The fighting would last for nearly a month, leaving tens of thousands dead, both military and civilian. The victory gave the United States a critical foothold in the Pacific and paved the way for bombing raids on Japan. One of those bombs would fall on Hiroshima on August 6, 1945, a moment frozen in time. At the Peace Park in Hiroshima, some visitors say the echoes of history still feel dangerously close.
Why was it important? Why was it important to come here?
We recently saw the film of Oppenheimer. You know, it's a popular film. We thought, okay, we go to Japan. We need to go to Hiroshima too. For us, it's a bit disgusting. But the people must know the history about this, to not to repeat that again.
Later this summer, on August 6th, both the Peace Park in Hiroshima and the Peace Memorial on Tinian will mark the 80th anniversary of the bombing. This Sunday on Saipan, a wreath laying is scheduled at one of the landing beaches. That will happen at 8:40 in the morning. followed by wreath laying at the Court of Honor and at the Marianas Memorial. The American Memorial Park Visitor Center is currently open on Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays.
The sun will soon set on the CNMI tonight, leaving behind a glorious glow, one that illuminates the feeling of liberation that we share during the 3-week-long Liberation festivities. The ribbon is about to be cut on this year's Liberation Day festivities. Mayor R.B. Camacho.
The most exciting part here is the location where we are now, Susupi. And this is what the liberation all about. For our forefathers that have been liberated from the Camp Susupi.
It has been 79 years since Camp Susupi was liberated from Japanese rule by United States forces. Respect is paid. Isabella Yiftig, the artist who designed the festival's logo, signs her work, which has since been transformed into t-shirt form and modeled by one Jaden Sanchez. This year's festivities will run for 3 weekends. There will be food, lots of food, entertainment, yes, and a royal court. The royal court competitors sashay to the stage. Police Commissioner Anthony Marianas.
The beauty of this activity, is to have this kind of competition where they all compete for one, just to be the queen for liberation, and I wish them luck.
And as we wish them luck, only one will be accepting the Queen's coronation on July 4th. The sun sets on our beautiful island. Let the festivities begin.
It could be a quiet goodbye for some of the U.S. military's most important ships in the Pacific. After decades in the region, including regular extended stays in local waters, the Pentagon is divesting from a fleet of floating supply vessels.
For years, these massive ships loaded with tanks, trucks, ammo, and supplies have been pre-positioned in the Indo-Pacific, ready to respond at a moment's notice. Frequently, they're anchored just over the reef in Saipan waters. When they disappear, it usually means one of two things: trouble somewhere in the world, or a storm on the way. Now it appears we'll be seeing less and less of them. According to an internal email sent to ship personnel, the U.S. Department of Defense has approved a plan to retire or reassign 6 of these military ships. The reason? The Army says land basing is faster, more secure, and expected to save nearly $1.5 billion over the coming years. Despite being packed with equipment, these ships require surprisingly small crews.
These ships, they're huge, but they don't have that many people on board because they're trying to operate as efficiently as possible.
Right.
Correct?
You are correct. Yeah. A matter of fact, and in some cases, they might have the ability to reduce manning even more based on the automation that might be in their engine room. And so one of my jobs here as an inspector is to evaluate what they do on board. Do they have enough crew on board to do certain aspects, like, for instance, fighting a fire, or for mooring operations? How many people do they need to moor the ship up if they were to pull into a dock, or anchoring operations, things like that? Or just really the basic stuff is like standing a watch. How many people do you need to stand a watch rotation so that they meet the minimum hours of rest that are required under international standards and U.S. standards?
According to the internal email, the vessels, including the USNS Watson, Pomeroy, Charlton, and others, will soon be offloading cargo on the U.S. East Coast. 3 are expected to transfer to the Maritime Administration by the end of the fiscal year, the rest expected to follow next year. The long-term strategic shift could mean fewer military logistics visits to places like Saipan, but defense officials say the region remains a vital part of the Indo-Pacific mission.
What have you been told, or what are you expecting in the coming year? We're going to have, looks like, less boats, right?
So there's always a fluctuation of vessels out here, and it depends on the needs of the service. It depends on the needs of MSC, and when we're specifically talking about the MSC ships. And so, we basically just we deal with what we have when it comes to us.
Coast Guard says safety inspections and port security work will continue even as this chapter in Pacific Defense Logistics may look very different in the coming years. Chris Nelson for the Channel 2 News.
Coming up, a new doctor sees her way to Saipan.
And the strategic plan to move principles in order to maintain principles. More news is next.
Find a plan that goes with your flow. Get unlimited local talk, text, and data at the most affordable rate with Unlimited Flow Postpaid.
At Marianas Beach Resort, come to the edge of the ocean and experience the best sunsets on Saipan at Skipper's Beach Bar. Open daily from 5 p.m. till 9 p.m., Skipper's is the perfect place to unwind with great friends, great weather, and stunning ocean views. And every hour is happy hour with $3.99 craft draft beer, local food specials, and live music. Bring a friend or make some new ones. Skipper's is where memories are made. Skipper's Beach Bar, the best sunsets, the best fun. Come join us tonight. See you at the beach.
When I think of you sometime, want to spend some time with you, just the two of us.
At one of Saipan's beaches, this mother lays about 100 eggs under the cover of darkness. She hides her nest as best she can and then slowly makes her way back to the ocean. The eggs hatch and the babies head for the sea, where they will face a daily dose of danger. Just 1 in 1,000 will make it to adulthood. Those that do will one day lay their own eggs. Sea turtles are protected under CNMI law. If you see one that is stranded or if you see illegal activity, call the hotline at 287-8537.
Let's go.
Let's go, let's go, let's go!
Let's go!
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go, let's go, let's go!
Let's go! Let's go.
Welcome back. You're watching the Friday night edition of the Channel 2 News.
Since taking the reins as Commissioner of Education, Dr. Lawrence Camacho has launched a plan that he hopes will strengthen public schools across the CNMI, starting with who leads them. When Dr. Lawrence Camacho became Commissioner of Education in January 2024, he says one of his top priorities was boosting school performance across the board. A key part of that strategy, rotating school principals, bringing in fresh leadership while keeping vice principals in place for continuity.
Looking at it from a district standpoint and trying to move our needle on the proficiency rating as a district, I thought rotating strategically these leaders, right, the educational leaders with lots of experience and qualities that they could bring to other schools, I think would then help us move that needle to the right and improve.
The goal is to prevent complacency, improve accountability, grow leadership experience, and ultimately improve staff morale and student outcomes. Camacho says months of data gathering, school visits, and planning went into the rotation strategy, right down to individual student performance.
So the other discussion that we've had with them is the performing students. How are they performing on the subjects as well? Because we're looking at their test scores for these proficiency assessments. But how are they in the classroom with the other subjects, right? Are they the A's and B's students as well? Because some students could be A's and B's in the classes, but can underperform in a test because they're not good test takers, right? And if we identify that, then we need to, make sure that not only do we identify it, we do something about that.
Letters were sent out to principals with guidance and support for transitioning into their new roles, but not everyone welcomed the news.
We want to keep our principal.
Since the rotation plan was announced in November, some students and staff, including Cagman High and Coblerville Elementary, have voiced concern about losing their current principals.
The board met and, because the community was alarming the board about this change that they were not ready for. At least many in the community were. And I heard testimonials being read at board meetings. And I listened, and I care for those words that voices that are coming out of the community and stakeholders, right? And then the board asked me to, slow down and pause because it was going to happen on the 1st of July this year.
In response to community feedback, the rotation is now rolling out in 2 phases. Phase 1 is underway. Phase 2 is expected to follow towards the end of the year.
Because I already have an idea, but I'm going to again strengthen that idea by just continuing to get to know more of the community in those schools and see whether or not the data would shift to the right or to the left, and then make that final decision on phase 2. But phase 2 is already a planned phase. Again, it's just a plan for now, right? But we're executing phase 1 at this point and then transitioning. There would be a trigger on how and when to move into phase 2 to make that decision. So there's going to be a decision point later on, late this year or early next year, to then go ahead and begin that transition for phase 2.
A similar leadership shuffle is also happening at the senior director level, all part of a larger push to move the needle on student success.
I love that parents and students are so aligned with who's taking care of them. Now, a new public law has paved the way for internationally licensed physicians to practice in the CNMI. Dr. Jonalyn Rodriguez Bernardino is the new and now only practicing ophthalmologist in the CNMI. You can see her at the Marianas Eye Institute.
An ophthalmologist is a doctor for the eyes. So we are trained to diagnose eye diseases. We can treat eye diseases as well as do surgeries. I'm privileged to be the first one to get that license as a foreign-trained medical specialist.
Ms. Bernardino is a board-certified ophthalmologist and cornea specialist who has extensive experience at the Jose Reyes Memorial Medical Center in Manila, the Philippines. Dr. Marty Roringer, an emergency physician at CHC, serves on the CNMI Healthcare Professions Licensing Board.
The licensing board over the last 2 years has worked with the legislature and the Senate to find pathways that would address our doctor shortage in the CNMI. It's not unique to CNMI. The doctor shortage is nationwide. To address this, the licensing board worked with the legislature and with CHCC to have them look at alternatives to traditional pathways. And through the leadership in the Senate and the governor and the legislature, it happened.
Dr. Bernardino is only the first, but will not be the last, foreign licensed physician.
We have several other candidates who are extremely talented and interested in serving the community. The next big barrier, which she didn't have to deal with because she's got a green card, is the immigration. Immigration, as everyone knows, has been complicated by recent policies at the federal level, and but we'll work with immigration to find ways through it and bring these talented people to our community.
The licensing board is now looking for an oncology specialist for cancer treatment, as well as primary care physicians for Tinian and Rhoda.
We were able to create a pathway to find such talented individuals such as Jonalyn And we're grateful to the leadership that has allowed this and recognized the need of the community, and we're just very delighted it's finally come through.
Ophthalmologist David Coram of the Marianas Eye Institute will be leaving Saipan to continue his service internationally with an organization called Cure Blindness. He is grateful to Dr. Bernardino for her coming stewardship.
Needs of the population are acute, and I think that's what the biggest issue that we're really talking about here is having the ability for the patients on Saipan with eye problems to continue to get ophthalmic care.
Dr. Coram says that without an ophthalmologist present, 100 people a year in the CNMI would go blind due to diabetic eye disease.
This piece of legislation that allows the licensing board to now broaden the pool is significant for allowing ongoing care for the island. And I work all over the world now for the past 10 years. And I've seen that there are exceptionally talented physicians everywhere.
Dr. Bernardino has been practicing now on Saipan since the beginning of June.
Honestly, it feels like home. It's just like one of the provinces in the Philippines. So I find it the island is really very blessed with the natural resources, with a very calm environment. So I like it here.
Coming up in sports, swim, bike, run. A father holds his daughter up to the world in a triathlon. Stay tuned.
Welcome to Marianas Beach Resort, and now welcome to Marianas Coffee. Indulge in the rich, smooth taste of classic coffee, or treat yourself to one of our signature creations with the best coffee roasted right here in Saipan. Craving something fun? Try our cracking marshmallow milkshake, or one of our refreshing milk teas. Stay cool with locally grown lemongrass lemonade, the perfect tropical twist. Pair your drink with our delicious cakes, dessert, sandwiches, and salads freshly made just for you. And with super fast Wi-Fi, it's the perfect place to work or unwind. Marianas Coffee at Marianas Beach Resort, where great coffee meets great style. Location, location, location. Office space on Capitol Hill available now at the Hermosa Vista Business Park. With natural light and ocean views, it's the perfect place for creative professionals. So upgrade your life and your working environment. Schedule an exclusive showing now. Call us at 670-483-4750 or email hvsaipan@gmail.com.
Buenas sports fans.
sports fans! Tomorrow morning at Kilili Beach, there will be a local race between 3 outrigger canoe teams and the team set out to represent the CNMI in the Palau Minigames 16 days from now. If you'd like to watch, go time is 7:30 a.m. for 500 and 1500 meter sprints. I'll see you there. You know, Sunday is Father's Day.
I know, and in our next story, what does it mean to be a father, a parent, a family? Former Marianas residents are making international headlines by holding up their daughter to the world. Steve Coleman and his daughter, Audrey, just made history in Asia's triathlon world. As our Chris Nelson reports, Team Audrey is more than just a name, it's a movement of love and of purpose.
Former Saipan residents Steve and Larissa Coleman are the proud parents behind Team Audrey, a growing movement centered around their daughter Audrey, who has cerebral palsy. Audrey was born on January 24, 2013. Her parents first met on the island of Tinian, and now they're making waves in the Philippines where they live and train as a family.
Audrey is a really happy kid. She's generally loves the wind, music, just loves movement and activity. She's just a really happy kid.
Audrey doesn't speak, so her family relies on hands-on communication to understand her needs, but there's no mistaking her joy, and recently the Colemans turned that joy into history at the NTT Asia Triathlon Cup in Subic Bay. Team Audrey became the first to ever compete in the race with a child with disabilities in tow anywhere in Asia.
What did it feel like for you to cross that finish line together?
Oh, it felt wonderful. That was the end of a very long journey, and it was pretty special having Audrey with me in that event. Actually, we made history. It was the first time that anybody's ever done that in Asia. I didn't realize that at the time. I thought it was just a first for the Philippines, but this is the World Triathlon Organization, and they pulled me aside after the event, said it was the first time anybody's ever done it on this side of the world.
Steve pulled Audrey and her teacher Maxine through the ocean swim in a raft. Then he cycled with her in a trailer and finished the run pushing the same rig modified for foot travel. Larissa handled logistics, overcoming hurdles with equipment, training, qualification, and the searing heat. They even formed specialized teams: hydration, water safety, spiritual support, and transitions.
Team Audrey became this sort of concept and an idea that has taken on a life of its own. And initially, Audrey and I did this to honor God and my wife, Larissa, and also Audrey, right? I wanted to hold her up to the world and show her what a cool and special kid she is. and also a big part of it is to increase awareness and acceptance and inclusivity of PWD people in the Philippines. And PWD stands for Persons with Disability. And there is a lot of work to be done in terms of people understanding, accepting, and embracing people from different walks of life, especially amongst the children.
Audrey's strength inspired everyone around her, even as temperatures soared.
How did Audrey inspire you throughout the journey and the preparation? It's not like you can just show up and do this. You got to prepare to do it.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you brought that up, because, that's why it's called Team Audrey. As my wife, Larissa, was a huge part of it. She helped solve for the equipment challenges early on, sourced, bought, and had our bike trailer, running stroller, brought to the Philippines. My brother brought it, thanks, Drew. And she solved for a lot of stuff and led the transition team, getting out of the water, transitioning to the bike, transitioning to the run, and all of that. We had a hydration team, spiritual leadership team, water safety team. A whole bunch of people contributed to this. And this kid right here, she was the big hero. And without her toughing it out, because it was hot. I mean, the first year we finished and the heat index was almost 56, which is like 120 degrees. It was crushing heat, but she handled it. And if at any point in time she got sick, was uncomfortable, complaining, we would have stopped. But she stuck it out.
And so did you. Were there any moments you considered stopping?
No.
Now the Colemans are encouraging other families with special needs to take their own leap of faith.
What would you say to other parents considering similar challenges with their children?
Just to hold your children up to the world. And I think that there is, look, when you're the parent of a child with special needs, there is a lot of anxiety that goes along with it, a lot of frustration, to be honest, a lot of guilt, a lot of second guessing, and all those things are wrapped up in sort of a ball of difficult emotions to deal with. But what I try to tell people and other parents that want to participate in this event and other things is those are all good and healthy human emotions. You have to experience that. You have to go through that and you have to deal with it. But, don't let that cascade down to the child because it's not their fault.
Team Audrey isn't slowing down. A long run is planned for this summer, followed by an ocean swim this winter, and they've already marked next year's race, May 6th, 2026, back in Subic Bay.
To everybody in the Marianas, and we miss it, and we hope to come back and visit very soon.
Team Audrey is living proof that the finish line is just the beginning. Chris Nelson for the Channel 2 News. Hey, golfers, come north and practice your game at the Marianas Driving Range. New Year's local specials. 10-piece coupon books available for just $60. That's a $10 savings. Want to get really good? Come work on your swing every day for just $99 per month. It's our practice pass and you're going to love it. Grab your passes and go straight to the range. You can social distance and chip all at the same time and the views are free. Reserve now at marianastrekking.com. You can pay online, open 7 days a week.
Here's the weather. It's been a warm one, CNMI, and tonight will stay warm with only a 20% chance of cooling showers. Low temperatures of around 77 degrees. The weekend will stay sunny with only a 20% chance of isolated showers. High temperatures of 87 degrees and lows of around 77. The sun will set tonight at 6:48 p.m. and will rise again tomorrow morning at 5:47 a.m. And if your eyes are open at that hour, why not head to Susupe to see our Va'a racers prepare their paddles for Palau? And if your eyes are still open in the evening hours, why not return to Susupe for the continuing Liberation Day festivities? Either morning or evening, I will see you in the water or on the land.
Well, that's news, sports, and weather. Thank you for joining us, CNMI.
See you again after Father's Day on Monday.